Hey everyone, so I welcome you all humbly today. Today I'm going to talk on the topics of books, and this is for people out there who are in their late 20s or in the early 30s and who want to migrate into good books or know more about the world around them, etc. So, some of these books are being recommended to me, and it is applicable both in your personal life and as well as for your professional life. So, we'll start with the book based on. Okay, so our first book is going to be on stocks, and this is going to be a tough read, I have to warn you. So the book is called as Intelligent Investor, and I'm sure some of you would have heard about it or read about it, but I would like to talk more about this book. This book is for any novice stock investors or for any investor junkie, but some may argue it's not for novice stock investors. On some grounds, I have to accept the fact. So there are lots of footnotes which are mentioned at the bottom of almost every page, which are very important compared to the main page, I feel. But I have to warn you, this is a tough read. So it's kind of a little guide on stock investment, and I'm also a complete novice beginner of stock, but I felt more sort of a primer, a neat investing book out there in the market. So I have to warn you again, don't binge read it. It takes your time, read them slowly, understand them. And I certainly learned that the difference between investing and speculating, which goes around the Wall Street. So I was so overwhelmed when I started reading the book, but it kind of shed most light or more light as I proceeded through the book. So kindly stay away from binge reading. Again, stay with your Google connection, a pen and a paper for reading this book. I have to warn you about that. So this book was actually picked by Warren Buffett, and his review on the book, trust me, lives up to the expectation. I feel that it really lives up to the expectation. And so let's quickly talk about Warren Buffett now. So whether you are an avid investor with a complex understanding of the markets or a beginner who's yet to start learning, you should have come across this name. If not, kindly Google him. So he represents a level of success that very few people even reach. So he's one of the richest man in the world, but he has built his great fortune solely of his wealth by investing. And he's not a scientist, okay? He did not build up any product like Microsoft or Apple, or he did not start any new product in the market or build any specific businesses. So he has gotten to where he is by nothing more than diligent value and principle-based investing. So I got interested in stocks because of my dad. He's my first guru, I would say. And since my childhood, I used to watch him like reading all these newspapers to see the financial patterns of the stocks, or also and also the news. And the news, and he always consistently he was like watching. And I used to escape from all this small stock because he was trying to impart his knowledge to me, but I didn't bother about that so much. But one fine day, I don't know, the buck hit me and the world of Warren Buffett opened up. And that's where I became so interested in this finance models and all those stuff and all the tiny detail science and maths behind the stocks, etc. And I started reading like lots of metrics and books around there. So I started with Intelligent Investor, and many people kind of want me not to read this book, but I would say you have to start from somewhere, and if you want to get into the world of stocks, and you can start with this book and to be your own judge. So in this book, Graham makes his point on technical analysis very clear. So he notes that one principle that applies to nearly all technical approach is that one should buy because a stock or a market has gone up and sell because it has declined. He says this is the exact opposite of sound business sense. So within the investor class, he further makes a distinction between defensive and aggressive investors as it relates to the time and energy intended to be spent on research or analysis, and it is in conjunction with the expected associated returns. So regardless of which class the investor belongs, the main premise of the book revolves around the value investing. investing. So buying securities when they are undervalued based on their fundamentals. So Benjamin goes on to discuss a breadth of topics in this area of investing, including the inflation, market fluctuation, portfolio management, stock selections, and I think he also talks more about convertible issues, bonds, etc. So I'm sure you'd have heard all these terminologies before, but you don't know like what is it all about, right? So I believe that you have to really diversify your portfolio. So it's not just about going to job, earning money, and just buying some home and stocking up lots of values of money in the bank, but how to diversify them, how to retire early, and how to start planning like early in your 20s to have a successful retirement and qualitative retirement. So that's the reason I really suggest even my friends and others to get into this real estate or into stocks, etc. And I'm more into stocks, though I'm not so into that level of a guru state or something like that. But I do diversify my portfolio with stocks, etc. And I tend to see that women are not good in taking risk, and they don't tend to buy more of stocks rather than jewelry. So I would recommend you girls, if you're out there watching this video, grab this book, try and learn like what is this world of stock and how we can also dominate the stock area. So if you want to know more about stocks and different metrics, how to gauge them or how to learn more on stocks, please leave a comment so I can upload more video on that. So the power of habit helps you to understand why habits are like the core of everything you do, how you can change them, and what impact that will have in your life, your business, your society, your personal life, and everything which is around you. So according to the book, the habit works in three-step loops: cue, routine, and reward. So the cue is what triggers you to do the habit. Okay, so for example, you might be sitting down at your kitchen table to have your breakfast every morning at 7 a.m. And the second one, the routine, is a behavior you then automatically engage in, which is like for drinking coffee, you might have to go over to your coffee maker, turn it on, press the large cup button. And the author says that you can change your habit by substituting just one part of the loop, that is the routine. And he mentions about the willpower. So willpower is the most important habit forming loop, and you have to strengthen it over the time. And he has given like 3 different methods which you can strengthen them. And the reward comes the last. So you will receive a reward for completing the routine, right? So such as the rich smell of your coffee and its hearty taste, and getting to wash the steamed rice from the cup as it sits on your kitchen table. I know you might be not in that mood of doing all this stuff in the early morning while you're going to your office. So Duhigg has managed to combine, as I said previously, some scientific research with his own ideas and personal experience in such a way that the book tells many extremely compelling real stories while teaching you everything you need to know about habits. At least I felt that. So I would really suggest you to take this book and try and understand, I'm sure. So we just crossed our new year, so you'd have had like lots of resolutions and you'd have had lots of habits which you want to change, but you don't know from where to start, or you need some little help. And I think this little help can be given by this book, and try and understand like different patterns of habits, and break them down and analyze them. Why are you doing it and why not? How you can stop them, etc. And if you stop this routine, how are you going to reward and all this stuff. So pick this book for your self improvement and to have a more qualitative life.